Ah! Hey! Oh god. I was vibing too hard to the music and I wasn't ready at all. I had to plug in the mic. I usually do that before I stream, but I just fucking forgot because I was grooving too hard to the tunes. Anyway. Hi. We're back. Welcome back. We are hopefully gonna finish this trial today. This title theme is so fucking loud. If I sound soft now, it'll probably be fixed when we get into the game.
This is it, Maya's trial.
Oh wait, no, this would be Phoenix in this case, because Luke is not on the trial stand right now. This is it, Maya's trial. We're finally able to make some headway in this case. Seems like they're trying to accuse her of that other incident too. We're dealing with one tough customer. The real culprit is a witch, that much I'm certain of. The question is, who? I think I know the answer. The butler did it. Of course, John Grey Earl. They think I'm gonna let them take Maya. They've got another thing coming. There he is. He's just standing there.
So, it's gotta be that, young butler?
I know what you're thinking. I couldn't quite believe it at first either. But the evidence and circumstances all point to the butler. He, or she, has to be the witch. At least, it'll be certain if the magic gem turns out to be a fake.
But if that's the case, then Belduke's murderer was also...
Yeah, it would be Grey Earl.
No, it can't be true. He wouldn't have done that.
Isabella?
I know Jean. He held Sir Belduke in the greatest of respect. Jean didn't kill him, I'm sure of it!
John Grey Earl, are you really what people think you are? Why would you phrase it like that? There are still so many unknown factors in this trial. Luke? Are you still mad?
It's Luke! I'm sorry, Maya. What I did was unforgivable.
What are you saying, Luke? All you did was testify about what you saw.
But I should have trusted you.
Well, you trust us now, right?
Maya. Anyway, Luke, it was thanks to you that we discovered new information. Thanks to me?
Wait, but hold on, I'm adjusting volume just a little bit.
Sure.
You got Cracker to testify. That was a great idea. For a split second, I forgot that there was a parrot. Just for like half a second in my head.
I wish I could talk to animals. Don't you too, Isabella? Oh yes, I'd love to have a chat with Eve. So, Luke, will you teach us how to do it? Pretty please. Yeah, of course, I can try. Yay, that's a promise, right? Mr. Wright?
What is it, Luke?
Do you mind if I join you from now on?
Not at all, Luke.
I realized during the trial that in this strange town, even what you see with your own eyes may not be real. That's why I'm not giving up yet. Professor, I know he'll return. We can't give up hope.
You know, that's what I've been thinking too.
Really?
I have a feeling he'll reappear again when we get into trouble and help us out.
Because, I mean, it's the professor we're talking about here.
Right! And remember what he always says. Look forward to the future. Always look on the bright side. I don't think it was the professor who said that. Defender, accused! The intermission's over. Return to the courtroom. Well, let's go. It's time to bring this trial to a close.
Oh, I have something for you, Mr. Wright.
Please just take the L. Bring in the parrot, please. But yeah, I mean, before this time, I've played this game before, like I've said before, but I've always sort of been like split on how I feel about the parrot thing. But now that I like really think about it, like it really does bring in like aspects of Layton's characters and Wright's characters to make it work. So I think you know, it's more than just, they do it for more than just a callback. They do it to like use the, to you know, put Luke's abilities to more use as well, and I like that. Yeah.
Here, take it. Maybe it'll come in handy in the trial.
A letter, huh? Let's see who it's from. Wait, Newton Belduke. There are several sheets of parchment inside, but they're all blank.
The professor and I got this when we went to see the storyteller.
Oh, thank you, Luke. The more info we have, the better.
You're welcome.
Blank letter. All right. Sure thing. If only we had Luke for a DLC case in Dual Destiny, it would have been 10 times easier. True, true. I've got no proof that it was John Grail who turned the professor into gold. Even if the magic gem is a fake, it's still not decisive evidence. I don't know what'll happen next, but I do know that this battle's far from over. Let's go. Oh, back in the cage with ye. We will now resume the trial of Maya Fey. First things first, the occult crime analysts have finished examining the evidence. They have tested the 2 magic gems from the Witch's Scepter. Goldor floated on the surface of the water, whereas Famalia sank.
It was said that genuine magic gems float in pure water, wasn't it?
Thus it has been established that the Famalia magic gem is a fake. Order! Order! Order in court! This does not prove that Goldor was used, of course. Nonetheless, the defense's theory does now seem more plausible. The court considers it worth looking into. You have no objection to that, do you, Inquisitor Barnum? No, my lord. Alright, Famalia gem is a fake. Now then, bring in the witness. Yo. Witness, state your name and profession.
My name is John Grail. I served the late Master Belduke. Since his death, I have been tending to his dwelling and putting his research materials in order.
I don't know what it is, but
I feel like there's something a bit different about Grail today.
Witness, there is something we need to clarify first of all. As you are no doubt aware, you have been accused of being a witch. Therefore, it is vital that you tell us, are you a boy or a girl?
Please hold on.
Why? What is it?
Excuse my rudeness, my lord, but at this time, I do not intend to answer that question.
Why do you refuse to answer, witness?
I had been following this trial from the gallery, and so am fully aware of the utterly absurd accusations made against me. Alchemy, the art pursued by Master Belduke, is concerned with the rules and logic that govern nature. As someone who had been helping Master Belduke for quite some time, I dare say your theory is both illogical and impossible.
Objection! The Witch's Scepter was thrown to the crime scene through a portal created by the magic spell Godor. That portal could only have been opened from your room. And what's more, one of the walls in your room is painted green!
I believe anyone is free to paint their walls in whichever color they please. Besides, your theory relies on one magic gem being a fake. Whereas, while that may have been proven true, another question has arisen. Where could the genuine magic gem be?
She reminds me of Guts, the little German boy. I cannot wait to... Well, I was gonna say finish Case 3, but it's kind of up in the air if we're gonna finish that on Friday, Ollie. I mean, not even because we stopped mid-investigation. That trial part I remember being pretty meaty, so wouldn't have been your fault anyway. Anyway, speaking of which, is that not the command? What is the command? Hold on. Give me just a sec. Boink. There we go. It must have been swapped with the fake one, discarded somewhere.
I'm afraid that's impossible. Why? If we assume, as you have claimed, that the witch used the spell Godor, that would mean the magic gem must have been swapped after creating the portal. So tell me, when and where would the witch have disposed of the magic gem?
I see your point. Several people paid witness to the incident, and the Knights of the Inquisition arrived at the scene immediately after. During that time, no one left the building, and the whole place was meticulously searched.
Naturally, my room was searched as well, although there was not much to see as I have few personal belongings.
Despite our inspection, nothing resembling a magic gem was found. I assure you we have not overlooked anything. I would swear to it on my honor as a knight.
So, Mr. Wright, if you wish to accuse me of being a witch, should you not first prove that there is a connection between me and this missing magic gem? Furthermore, I would appreciate it if you would please approach the matter in a rational way, like an alchemist.
The house was searched very soon after the crime. If the gem wasn't found, then it means Grey Earl hid it somewhere. Somewhere the Knights of the Inquisition would not have looked. Where could it be? The witness has made a valid argument. How will the defense respond? The knights who searched Sir Belduke's premises weren't looking for a magic gem. That's why there's a certain place they didn't consider searching. Interesting. You really don't give up easily, do you? In that case, perhaps you could tell us all where the magic gem is. Well, it's not in any room, probably, so... Sir Belduke's premises were thoroughly searched. I don't think anything would have been missed there. You anticipated that, and that's why you hid it in the blind spot that you knew wouldn't occur to the knights. A blind spot, you say? Well, where is it? It's somewhere on John Grey Earl's person. What? It's on the witness? Don't tell me. The witness has it in their pocket. You're just guessing, aren't you? You think you can just say anything you like.
By the way, I'm afraid there are no pockets in my clothing.
Well, this is the second time I've seen Grey Earl today. And both times I had a feeling that something wasn't quite right. Maybe it's just me, but it could be related to the whereabouts of the magic gem. Defense, show us the location of the magic gem. Where do you think this witness hid the magic gem on the day of the crime? Well, I mean, there's that bump right there on the neckerchief collar, so...
Got it!
Bang! Witness? We met for the first time at Sir Belduke's premises. At that time, you had an amethyst attached to your collar. Oh, that's right. Mr. Grey Earl always wears that gemstone.
Alchemists believe that amethysts emit positive energy.
Amethysts are purple. When I saw you in the waiting room this morning, the gemstone you were wearing was green, not purple. So my question now is, where is it gone? Where is that amethyst that you supposedly always wear?
Objection!
Wait just a minute! The witness wears a purple gemstone? Is something amiss, Inquisitor Barnum? When we arrived at the crime scene, the witness came out to meet us. I recall the witness wearing a gemstone, but that gemstone was green. Green? Amethysts aren't green, although amateurs sometimes mistake praseodyte for amethyst, but that's irrelevant now. Witness? You've been trying to pin the blame on the defendant. In order to do that, you replaced the Godor magic gem with a regular gemstone. We thought the witch who killed Sir Beldu could use the spell Familia. You knew that if a witch's scepter with a Familia and Goldor magic gems attached was discovered at the crime scene, the suspect will be accused of committing both crimes. And that's precisely what happened. The girl captured at the crime scene was accused of slaying both Sir Belduke and Sir Leighton. That was your plan. You removed the Godor magic stone from the scepter and inserted your amethyst in its place. And then, you attached the Godor gem to your collar. That's why when we saw you shortly after the incident, you were wearing a green gemstone. To think that it was, in fact, a magic gem!
Order! Order! Witness, is that true?
This amounts to nothing more than conjecture. I do not believe you have any solid proof. However, I have to concede that you have surmised a logical connection between me and the missing magic gem. Consequently, I am prepared to answer your questions.
Good. I will repeat what I asked you previously. Witness, state your name, profession, and finally, your gender.
My name is Jean Grail. I have been
Oh my
serving
fuck,
the
it's
late
Jean-
Master
it's-
Belduke.
It's Jean! Fuck!
As you can see,
Been saying
I wear
John
the
this whole
butler's
time.
outfit. But the truth is, as the defense claims, I am a girl.
A girl? Unbelievable.
Zam.
What? The butler is a girl?
Well, order! Order! Order in the court! Jean Greyer, are you declaring to this court that you are in fact female?
Yes.
But everyone in town was under the impression that you are a boy. Did you hear that?
The butler's a girl. Doesn't that make him, her a maid? I knew there was something suspicious about him. I mean, her.
You know why, right? Think about it. All that alchemy. That's pretty sus.
Just listen to them. Listen to the wild gossip and accusations. Alchemists pursue knowledge of the rules that govern nature. But to the townspeople, alchemy is no different to magic. Had they known I was a girl, they would have taken me for a witch. That's what Master Belduke was worried about. He told me it would be safer to pretend to be a boy.
In other words, you disclose that you're a female but deny that you're a witch.
I would have thought that was obvious.
She knew that once her gender came into question, she wouldn't have been able to conceal it. That's why she's made this public now. It was the most rational choice for her.
Inquisitor Barnum, may I ask you one question? Has all the evidence in this Golden Gentleman case already been presented?
Why do you ask?
As it stands, you don't have a single piece of evidence proving that I am a witch. Given the lack of pertinent evidence against me, I would like to be permitted to return to my duties.
What say you, Inquisitor Barnum? It has been proven that the two gems were swapped. However, it may also have been possible for the accused to have done so.
Objection!
Maya had no reason to swap the gems. This is a place of judgment. There is no need for us to understand the reasons behind a criminal's actions. Huh? After all, those whom we judge are otherworldly creatures. They are witches. It is impossible for a human being to understand the reasoning of a witch.
Is there nothing we can do? At this rate, Maya will be...
Barnum still thinks Maya's a witch. Wait, this far? Yeah, it feels like we're back at stage 1. Luke's having a moment.
It seems there are no more rational arguments against me. Now, if you will kindly excuse me.
I don't have much on Grey Earl when it comes to the professor's case. But should I just let her go? Yeah, totally. That always works. No, ask about another case. There's nothing else I could follow up on regarding the professor's case. So what can I do? There's only one other option. Miss Grey Earl! I have to ask you to remain at the witness stand.
Is there something else you wish to ask me?
Your testimony is not over yet. There's still something you need to tell us about.
Mr. Wright, I'm afraid I cannot help you. I have told you all I could about this incident.
And I'm afraid you've got the wrong idea, Miss Grey Earl. Bap! Your Honor! What this witness needs to testify about is not the professor's unfortunate incident, but rather the incident from 3 months ago, namely Sir Belduke's death. As she was present in the building at the time, working as a live-in butler, she needs to testify about the events of that day. About Sir Belduke's death? The fact that one of the magic gems was swapped leads me to a single conclusion. Both crimes, the murder of Sir Belduke and the transmutation of the professor, were the work of the same witch. The truth behind the alchemist's death may also hold the answer to this case. What is your opinion on this, Inquisitor Barnum? I'll allow you to have your way this time, Sir Blue Knight. The Inquisition has no objections.
Inquisitor Zacharias Barnum, seems you have lost that unyielding attitude so admired by the townspeople. Here you are now, laying a novice. Fuck, I skipped the dialogue box. It is hard to believe you have been known as the unwavering sword of justice for your usually cool-headed judgment.
You know little about me, witness. If you think I care about defending my name, it is this town that I wish to defend. Sir Belduke's murder is the only case to have remained unsolved for so long. Jean Grey Earl, you shall now testify about it. Oh boy. Let me take a sip of my water. As demanded by both the defense and Inquisition, the witness will testify about Sir Belduke's death. Any questions? No, my lord. I must, however, mention one more thing before we begin. If it cannot be proven that Jean Grey Earl is a witch, as claimed by the defense, the court will irrevocably consider Maya Fey to be the witch responsible for both crimes. Is that understood? You have no choice, Sir Blue Knight. If you don't want the trial to end right now, ready your sword and face the challenge that awaits. But the opponent is a real witch. It's a gamble that puts Maya's life at stake.
Nick! Nick!
Maya!
No witch is gonna outwit you in court. You're an ace attorney after all.
She said it.
So, let's do it!
The defense accepts the conditions. Let's proceed with the trial. Inquisitor Barnum, you may begin. Said Ace Attorney. No, it was clearly a Professor Layton reference. We shall start with a brief summary of the incident. I mean, rubbish. I cannot dog them too much for that, because the Great Ace Attorney 1 and 2 both use that line, and I think those games are masterpieces. So, about 3 months ago, in the dead of night, Sir Belduke the Alchemist was murdered. The crime took place in his study, just as with this incident. The room had been locked from the inside. The victim was found still seated in the chair at his desk, so we can assume that he was attacked while working. Zeeks! Oh my god, he does kind of look like him. A more twinkified version. There are very clear strangulation marks visible on his neck. Oh. There's something trickling down from his mouth. Is that blood? Yes, most likely. The victim probably bit his tongue as he was struggling with his assailant. And you said earlier that some white powder was spilled all over the floor, correct? Yes, we had it tested. It was crack. Yes, we expected to find the killer's footprints. However, there were none. The killer must have somehow approached the victim without stepping on the floor. After murdering Sir Belduke, the killer left the room without opening the door. Undoubtedly, the crime must have been committed with the use of witchcraft. The body was discovered the following morning by the butler, Miss Grayle. The body was found by Grayle, huh? Thank you, Inquisitor Bond. The Court Illustrator sketches will be added to evidence. Boom, boom. Now, witness, begin your testimony. Tell us about the events spanning the night of the crime from the evening beforehand until you discovered the body.
At around 1 o'clock at night, I excused myself and let Master Belduke in his study. When I called him for breakfast in the morning, he did not respond. The door to his study was locked. A neighbor had come to visit just then, so we forced the door open together. All the potions and other concoctions in the study have been confiscated. I wonder if they're being properly stored.
Potions and concoctions were confiscated? The victim was an alchemist, after all. We were hoping the items confiscated from his study could provide some clues. Besides, such things must not fall into the wrong hands. It may not be standard practice, but it was deemed necessary. The confiscated goods are stored in our secret vault. The only person with access to them is the High Inquisitor, Lady Darklaw.
It has caused me great difficulty, as I have not been able to put Master's research materials in order as a result.
The confiscated items shall be returned as soon as Sir Belduke's murder is resolved.
I shall be looking forward to that.
Defense, you may begin the interrogation.
Around 1 o'clock at night, I excused myself and went Master Belduke in his study. When I called for him and he did not respond, the door to his study was locked. A neighbor had come.
Hold it!
That was the wrong thing. I meant. Wait, you mean broke the door? You mean you broke the door? The only key to that room was in Sir Belduke's pocket. The only way to enter the study was to break the door open. I love not looking at my soundboard, because, like, I could be aiming for the... But instead I get the... And sometimes that just adds that little bit of hecticness to my night that I needed. And you managed that with the help of a neighbor who had come to visit.
Yes, it wasn't just social visit, mind. He came as a patient.
A patient? Can you tell me more about him?
Objection!
Bap. The victim's neighbor is irrelevant. He has nothing to do with this case. I think you're pushing it this time. A witness is hardly irrelevant. What's got him so shaken? It looks as if he just had a rush of blood to the head.
Master Belduke had been making very potent medicines, among other things. We would get people coming from the town at all hours of the day or night asking for them. And yet, in return for all the help Master Belduke offered, people would gossip about him dabbling in witchcraft.
So you broke the door together with a neighbor.
Yes, when I explained the situation to him, he brought over an axe. Then he proceeded to attack the door with great force, smashing it into splinters.
I see. By the way, about that neighbor. Who was that?
It's time for Emir's grand entrance. Did you miss me, guys?
How can we miss you? You never go away. You already had your grand entrance this case!
Order! Could it be?
He was literally in part 1, but he's making a fucking scene again. Yep.
Where are you looking, old man?
Oh, and Burnley's
I'm
here
right
too.
Here. And as for who I am, I'm the alchemist's neighbor and a witness in that case too.
Oh wow, we couldn't get a voice for this guy. Passion for justice seated within. Amir is always at the crime scene.
Objection!
Objection! That was a horseshit rhyme. It's you again. You're the guy from earlier, right? Yep, that's me. Amir's the name. How have you been, Bluey? Are you really the alchemist's neighbor? Seriously? I know, right? Freaking coincidence, eh? But yeah, his house is next to mine. Ridiculed earlier, Amir returns, drinking like a king he never ever learns. That's why I tried to stop you from asking about the neighbor. Huh? What's so cold, Inquisitor Barnum? Able to hold his steady cold gaze, Amir drinks fast as if in a daze. Well, his rhymes are getting better, but his meter still needs work. And the musician standing next to you. Alright, yeah. That's me Private Bard Birdley. Alright, musical genius. Hold on. Oh, dearie me. How dearie me. Well, no use studying the stable door after the horse has bolted. Let us move on. Witness, since you're already here, you may as well add your testimony. Testify about what you witnessed on the morning after the crime. You can count on me! I really wish that when he when he raised his glass in the like alcohol splashed out, some of it splashed on his face. That'd be funny. It dawned on me then. The witch cast Famalia just like in this fucking idiot. Ratio.
Objection!
There's something you don't seem to understand here, Mr. Amir. The Famalia gem in this witch's scepter is a fake. The gem is useless. Just like this buffoon's testimony. Therefore, your testimony doesn't hold water. I still haven't put my laugh track back on the soundboard, so instead you just get this. Just like anything else he says. What? Ignored and scorned without credibility. But majestic Amir now show humility. No. What? A fake? I mean, yeah, they have the graphic of like the drink getting on his face, so they could totally just, whatever. You should have listened to the trial more carefully. Now that has been dealt with, Inquisitor Barnum. The witch's scepter was not discovered at the crime scene when Sir Belduc was murdered. Is that correct? Indeed. We deduced the Famalia must have been used, however.
Objection!
But that Famalia magic gem was a fake. That much has been demonstrated today. What's more, as we've learned from Cracker the Parrot's testimony, the witch used the spell Godor. The fact that there's a green wall at the crime scene corroborates that.
Objection!
That wall may well not have been painted green 3 months ago. And besides, no one could have passed through a portal so small. To be honest, I've started wondering, was Sir Leighton and Sir Belduc's murders actually committed by the same witch.
Objection!
Your Honor, I'd like to remind you that was the Inquisition's claim. He's right, though. It's got to be the same culprit in both cases. And at the very least, it's possible that the witch used the spell Godor to commit Sir Balduke's murder. What? In that case, I will ask the defense to show us proof. Do you have proof that the witch could have used Godor to kill Sir Balduke? Can I take a look at those sketches real quick? Oh! Would you look at that?
Take that!
I'd like you to take a look at these. Aren't those the Cult Illustrator sketches? As you can see from this sketch, the victim was seated at his desk when he was murdered. And what can you see right behind the victim? A small landscape painting. Thank you, Inquisitor, but there's one more point of note. Look closely at the painting. Do you notice anything behind it? Oh, I see it. The wall behind it had already been painted green. Which means the witch could have used the portal spell there 3 months ago.
Objection!
One moment, my lord. Consider how small that portal would have been. Could a witch have passed through it? I think not.
Objection!
Of course, the witch would not be able to go right through it. However, if you look at the distance between the portal and the victim, you'll notice that the victim, Sir Balduke, was sitting just an arm's length from where the portal would have been. The witch did not have to enter the room at all. All she had to do was reach through with her arms in order to strangle Sir Balduke, who was sitting right under the painting. Zam! Order! Order! Inquisitor Barnum, what say you to that? A fascinating theory, Sir Blue Knight. What? But there is a notable contradiction within it. Where would that be? Tell me, why do you think we concluded that Familia had to have been used? We had a certain reason for it, of course. And what was that reason exactly? The crime scene had been tampered with. The crime scene had been tampered with. How so? Imagine the circumstances of Sir Balduke's death, and it should become obvious, even to you. The victim was choked to death. And yet there were no signs of a struggle. Highly improbable, don't you think? What are you getting at? Think about it. Can you imagine anyone just sitting back and letting themselves be strangled? Clearly there should be evidence of a struggle. And since we haven't found any, that must mean the killer erased all traces of a fight from the crime scene. Indeed! That would be the logical conclusion. Now surely it would be impossible to do any such thing had the witch only reached through the portal. In order to cover up the Fuck. Why is there no log in these games? Why do they only start that with, like, I think, Dual Destinies or Spirit of Justice onward? Anyway, without doing so, there would have been no point in her using the spell Godor.
Objection!
Miss Grey Earl could have done it. She might have been able to tamper with the crime scene. What are you talking about? The morning of the crime, from the time Miss Grey Earl and that guy entered the study, until the arrival of the Knights of the Inquisition, there was a window of time in which she had an opportunity to do so. We need to look into what happened in that window. Seems you may be in need of another testimony. Witnesses, testify about what happened in the time between the body being found and the Knights of the Inquisition arriving. Sure thing. Ask me anything. I'll tell you all you need to know. How glorious, Amir. Tell us more. Maybe you won't be laughed at as before. Only 2 people accessed the crime scene in that time. Grey Earl and Amir. Believe it or not, Amir is the key witness in this case. Fuck. Or I guess I should say...
Fuck!
I broke down the door and saw the alchemist slumped in his chair. Gave me a jolt! The butler hurried to call the Knights of the Inquisition. He never entered the study. What did I do then? Oh yeah! I was asked to keep an eye on things, so I went and have a look at everything. Oh, that made me pretty drowsy, so I went and took a little nap on the couch. Wait, what? Mr. Amir, you said the butler didn't enter the crime scene? Yup, he never set foot in there. The moment he saw Belduke, he told me to stand guard till the Knights of the Inquisition arrived. And then, off he went. What a resourceful apprentice that alchemist has, I thought to myself. I almost feel sorry for you, Sir Blue Knight. After all, your suspect couldn't have tampered with the crime scene. That can't be true. Defense, please proceed with the interrogation. Yes, Your Honor. Alright, let's fucking go. I don't like that face that Birdley's given me. Broke down the door and saw the alchemist slumped in his chair, gave me a jolt. The butler hurried to call the Knights of the Inquisition. He never entered the study. I do then. I was asked to keep an eye on things, so I went in to have a bit of a look at everything.
Hold it!
What were you having a look at? Ah, well, I was asked to take care of the crime scene, wasn't I? So I had to, like, make sure everything was in order. I mean, you know. So, like, I went wild with excitement after being left in a real alchemist room full of mysterious stuff. I'm sure you didn't, Mr. Sticky Fingers. Besides. Besides? She asked me to look for something, so I was doing that too. Oi!
Hang on!
Miss Grey Earl, you look lost in thought. Birdley also looks lost in thought, but in an entirely different way.
Oh, were you talking to me?
Even she can be caught off guard, if I choose the right moment. You've been listening to Mr. Amir's testimony, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
He was asked to look for something. It was you who asked him, I assume. What did you tell him to look for?
I think you're mistaken. I don't remember making any requests of that sort.
Huh? Holy Bluey! Were you even listening to what I said? It was a lady that asked me. The butler's a guy, you numbskull! I still don't have the bruh sound effect on this thing. Damn it. This is close enough. No, wait, that's not the oof sound. I need the oof sound on here. Fine, there we go. So many sounds I need to add, and I just keep forgetting. Hey, what's up? Why is everyone looking at me like that? Quite a while ago, we learned that the butler, Jean Grey Earl, is actually female. What? That's why when you said a lady asked you to search for something, we assumed it was Miss Grey Earl. Whoa.
Daydreaming, listening, but not hearing. That shock of look is almost endearing.
What the? Why didn't anyone tell me before? Do you require a personal notification? You should have been listening to the trial. I can't with this guy. Knights of the Court squabbling with the witnesses most unseemly. You're right, we should be throwing hands with him. What I would like to know now is this. Who was the lady that made the request of Amir? Oh yeah, that was actually, Miss... Yo, there's, yo,
talking about me.
the mailer.
Oh, and you are?
Oh, I'm Letty. Hang on a minute. I'll get down there post haste.
Damn, she wasn't lying. That post can haste.
But, Miss Letty, who are you precisely?
Me? Who am I? I'm Letty Mailer. I'm the courier.
The courier?
A courier is a person who collects and delivers letters or packages.
I know. Thanks anyway, Isabella. Wish you'd stop misreading my mind. Hold on, Miss Mailer. Do you mean it was you who irresponsibly made such a request to that troublemaker?
Me? Maybe. Yeah, I guess so. I asked him to help me find something.
Outrageous! Why was I not informed of this?
I guess no one told you. Maybe because you didn't ask.
It seems we will need to ask you to testify, Miss Mailer. Explain to us how you were involved in this case.
Frankly, I wouldn't say I was involved in anything. Now I'm in a tight spot. I bet it's because that guy said something weird about me.
Eyes up on me, lady. Like the saying goes, if I'm going down, I'm taking you with me. It's being in a pickle on your own, eh? Now then, Miss Letty Mailer, testify about that day. That voice can make windows shatter.
Sir Belduke said he'd have a letter to send, so I came by to pick it up.
Oh shit.
Objection!
The letter you found that morning, was it by any chance this one here?
Ah! I guess that's the one. But wait, how did you get it? You're a piece of work, all right.
Objection!
Hold it! Sir Blue Knight, how did you come by that letter? It just sort of fell into my lap, so to speak. It was the professor who found it, but he doesn't need to know that. Defender, just what in the world are the contents of that letter? Well, the letter's blank. What? All this fuss over a blank letter? As you can see, there are some sheets of parchment inside the envelope. Indeed, there's not a trace of ink on them. What is the meaning of this? Don't forget that Sir Belduke was an alchemist. He may have used some kind of invisible ink to write that letter. Indeed, that would make sense.
About that, it doesn't make sense to me.
What? Miss Mailer?
The thing is, when I saw that letter, all the pages were full of writing. So, no.
Objection!
Hold it, witness! You saw the contents of Sir Belduke's letter?
I didn't read it. It's just that, you see.
Witness, this is an important matter. You will need to testify about it. Tell us what you know about this letter. Damn.
That night, probably about 1 a.m., I made a delivery to Sir Belduke. He was writing a letter at the time. He'll be ready soon, so come pick it up tomorrow morning. That's what he said. I left his study and wished the butler a good night. Then I went home. I went there again the next morning, as promised. Sir Belduke was... well, anyway, I looked for the letter. And that guy went out like a light on the couch. I got a little scared, so I left as soon as I found the letter.
I see. So you witnessed the victim write the letter?
I wouldn't say witness. That sounds so legal. The sheets of parchment were covered in writing, margin to margin.
But you don't know what the letter was about.
Telling you would be a breach of our privacy policy. I can't reveal its contents or who it was addressed to.
Oh, of course, I understand.
Frankly, I didn't get close enough to Sir Belduke's desk, so I couldn't make out what he was writing.
In any case, where did you find the letter the morning after the victim was found dead?
On the shelf, next to his desk in a small letterbox. Yes, right there, next to his head. I was a teeny bit scared, though, coming so close to a dead man.
So that's where she took the letter from. It was right next to the corpse, huh? Now that the circumstances are clear, we shall proceed to the cross-examination. Let's go. He's writing a letter. It'll be ready soon, so come pick it up tomorrow morning. I'd left his study and wished the butler a good night.
Hold it!
Wait a minute! When you say the butler, you mean...
Miss Grey Earl, of course. She was in the corridor, carrying a tray.
Hang on!
Miss Grey Earl, I'd like to ask you something.
Oh, certainly. What is it?
You stated previously that you excused yourself and left Sir Belduk's study shortly after 1 a.m.
Yes, that is correct.
However, according to Miss Mailer's testimony, the two of you came across each other while you were waiting outside that room. Why didn't you mention that until now?
That's because, I apologize. I'm afraid I completely forgot to mention it.
You forgot?
Miss Mailer very often comes with deliveries during the night. I did see her that night as well, but I didn't think much of it, as it's nothing unusual. I had no reason to hide that from you. Please forgive me for the confusion.
Well, that kind of thing can happen. Human memory is in no way perfect. I imagine there's a problem here, is there? On the contrary, Your Honor. There's one more thing Miss Grey Earl forgot to mention. What is it? I'd like you to recall what Miss Mailer said about having met Miss Grey Earl that night. Oh my fuck! I don't have voice mod set up, so I can't do the echo. Shit. There's been so few flashbacks, I just kind of forgot to set it up today.
Miss Grey Earl, of course. She was in the corridor, carrying a tray.
Well, Miss Grey Earl, apparently you were carrying a tray at the time. What do you have to say about that? Jean Grey Earl, I believe you should add that to your testimony.
As you wish, my lord.
It's unlikely she really forgot about it. The fact she tried to hide it must mean something.
Miss Mailer left just as I was bringing Master his usual drink.
Oh shit, I probably should have pressed that.
Hold it!
What do you mean by usual drink?
When Master's experiments continued into the late hours, he would always have some juice to ward off sleepiness.
What kind of juice?
Tomato juice.
Hang on!
Excuse me, mister. Mister! What? I know nothing about it. Nothing. Nothing at all. Witness, what have you done this time? We just know at this point. God. Don't give me that scary look. Inquisitor Barnum. It was only just a little bit. Seriously, hardly anything at all. What are you talking about? Huh? What do you think I'm talking about? The juice, the tomato juice, of course. The tomato juice? Oh, you didn't. Surely even you wouldn't. Well, like I told you before, I think I sort of overdid it a bit on the previous night. When I woke up, my head was pounding, so I went to see the alchemist. But you know what happened? When I was left alone in the alchemist's study, kinda caught me eye. The bottle, I mean. The tomato juice. I thought it might make the headache go away, you know? So you drank it? The juice found at the crime scene? Well, why shouldn't I? It's a drink, ain't it? What else do you do with a drink? You drink it, right? And can you tell us where that bottle is now? You fucking idiot. Come to think of it, I don't remember seeing it at the crime scene.
It has been confiscated.
Confiscated?
As I mentioned previously, the occult crime analysis confiscated all of Master's personal belongings from the crime scene.
Is that so? Well, I believe we should take note of that bottle and add it to the court record. Amir drank some of the juice the following day. Yeah, so there I was, having a bit of juice. When the girl came around. To tell you the truth, I don't quite remember what happened after that. That's when he passed out, huh?
I went there again the next morning as promised. So Belduke was... Anyway, I looked for the letter. And that guy went out like a light on the couch. Got a little scared, so I left as soon as I found the letter. I'm gonna drink some of the juice the following day.
Objection!
Mister, I believe the reason you might have lost consciousness at the crime scene is tied to a certain piece of evidence. But wasn't it just because, you know, I had a bit too much fun the night before? No, it was because of this. The tomato juice. You passed out right after drinking this juice. Therefore, it's not unreasonable to assume there's a direct connection between the two. Tomato juice does not make people fall unconscious, Sir Blue Knight. Exactly. That's why something must have been added to the contents of that bottle. Something like a soporific. You mean sleep medicine? And if a soporific was mixed in with the tomato juice, that means Sir Belduke would have been unconscious at the time he was assailed. Oh! This sketch! Have another look. The red liquid trickling down from the victim's mouth is proof that Sir Belduke must have drank the tomato juice. I failed to consider this. Inquisitor Barnum, I bet you remember saying this to the court. Can you imagine anyone just sitting back and letting themselves be strangled? Clearly there should be evidence of a struggle. And since we haven't found any, that must mean the killer erased all traces of a fight from the crime scene. However, if the victim was unconscious when his assailant was strangling him, then the killer could have committed the crime through a small portal, big enough to put their arms through after all. Objection, I do not sound like whatever the fuck that impression was, and second of all, that may be so, but tell me this. How would the culprit have managed to obtain such a strong soporific? Ugh. It was very simple, and I think you've realized why. From the alchemist. That's right. An alchemist would no doubt have a wide array of various medicaments in their possession. An apprentice would have little trouble stealing some of them from their study. Isn't that right, Miss Grey Earl?
How should I respond to that? I'm sorry to disappoint you, may perhaps be the best way to put it.
What do you mean?
Even though that juice bottle has been safely stored for the past 3 months, I'm positive it would be impossible to find any trace of that soporific now.
You wicked... This is unbelievable. Was it really the Batlow who did it? But everything she says holds true. She was pretending to be a boy. That's why he's suspicious to start with.
Is she a witch?
Sheesh.
Hold on, everyone! The butler couldn't have done that to Sir Belduke. She would never ever do it. Please, let us testify just one more time. Miss Greer, let's tell them. Let's prove them they're wrong. They have no idea how much you've done for Sir Belduke.
Gonna make my actual tinnitus act up? Jeez.
Miss Mailer?
Very well. I shall grant you your request. Testify about the relationship between Miss Greyle and Sir Belduke.
Master took me in, a complete stranger. I will forever be indebted to him. That's why I could never make an attempt on his life, through magic or otherwise. Sir Belduke was a wonderful man. He's the one who recommended this line of work to me. And he's the one who told me about it. The confidentiality obligation, I mean. I've never once broken it.
It's true that Sir Belduke evoked fear due to being an alchemist. However, he was also a man of admirable character, who supported the townsfolk through his research. Why would anyone want to kill such a man? This question keeps haunting me, however much I think about it. Witches need no reason behind their evil. That is what makes them witches. Now, the defense may begin its interrogation. Master took me in, a complete stranger. I'll forever be indebted to him. That's why I could never make an attempt on his life through magic or otherwise.
Hold it!
You're claiming you had no reason to kill Sir Belduke.
Yes, you can ask whomever you wish, and I'm sure they will all say the same.
That is so. It is widely known that Jean Greyle was devoted to serving Sir Belduke. It's difficult to imagine that she could brutally murder her respected master. Indeed, I am of the same opinion. I have visited Sir Belduke on several occasions to inquire about this piece of evidence or that, and I must say I felt there was a strong bond of trust between him and Miss Greyle. Do you still think you can come up with a motive? A motive? Jean Greyle's motive for murder. Greyle risked a lot to conjure up a small portal on the wall. And then she killed Belduke, but what motive did she have? Just a motive for murder, or maybe another motive? I understand. The defense will present evidence. Evidence to indicate Jean Greyle's motive for murder. No. Wait, what? What's this about, Sir Blue Knight? Sir Belduke's life was taken that day. That's a fact. However, was this actually the culprit's true objective?
Objection!
This is nonsense! Sir Belduke was murdered. What other possible reason could there be besides someone wanting him dead? I'm fairly positive this piece of evidence will lead us to the culprit's real motive. Very well. Defense, present evidence to indicate Jean Greyle's motive for committing the crime. Fuck. Well, I mean, really, there's only one thing that I can think of that would have a thing. Unless there's something in one of these sketches? No, these are all dead man and then cocaine. Yeah, it's probably this then.
Take that!
Miss Greyle had no reason for wanting to kill Sir Belduke. However, there was another incident that night, which is related to this case. And I have an idea as to what it was. Another incident? I'm referring to this letter. Sir Belduke wrote a letter shortly before his death, yet all we have here are some blank sheets of parchment.
Fascinating. Are you saying maybe a witch used some kind of ink-removing magic on that letter, Mr. Wright?
No. The spell used by the witch was, of course... I need to reread that. The spell used by the witch was, of course, Godor. Let's go over the state of the crime scene one more time. As we know from Miss Mailer's testimony, the letter was in a letterbox next to the victim's head. Ah, yes, it's in the sketch as well. Letterbox is on the far side of the shelf. The point of note is the location of that letterbox. Unbelievable! As Inquisitor Barnum seems to have noticed, the letterbox is within reach of the small portal conjured by the witch behind the painting on the wall. Oh, indeed it is. And as Sir Belduke's butler, you would have known exactly where he keeps his letters.
Indeed, Master Belduke would always keep his letters in that letterbox before posting them.
You mentioned no such thing. Miss Grey Earl, you created a portal with Godor, not with the intention of killing Sir Belduke. You were after this letter, weren't you?
That's merely wild conjecture. I didn't even know about that letter at the time.
You didn't? Now that's very strange. When Miss Mailer came by that night, Sir Belduke was busy writing that letter. And that's when you entered, carrying a bottle of tomato juice. There's no way you wouldn't have known that your master was writing a letter to someone. And you could have known even more than that. For instance, perhaps you knew what he was writing about.
That's enough! I served Master Belduke as his butler. I never would have pried into his private affairs. Whatever it was he wrote about in his final letter to the storyteller, it is of no concern of mine.
Your Honor. Yes, defense? I'd like Miss Grey Earl's last statement to be added to her testimony. Any objections, Inquisitor Bottom? No, my lord. Very well. Witness, include what you just told us in your testimony.
As you wish, my lord.
I had no reason to take his life nor steal his letters.
Hold it!
Let me get this straight. You didn't know anything about the victim's letter.
That's right. I believe I've said as much already.
Then how did you know? How did you know it was addressed to the storyteller? Indeed. Why don't you answer his question, witness? It's true this letter is addressed to the storyteller. But when did you find out about it?
I have spoken about the murder with many people over the past 3 months.
Maybe we can roll back to that. I kind of want to hear how this is going, actually.
Everyone has been very kind to me. They have also told me all sorts of things. I must have heard about it from someone at some point.
Well, that incident was certainly much talked about. Would you not agree, defense? Is your testimony hold together? There's a contradiction. When is there not? There's a huge contradiction in Miss Grey Earl's testimony. You are becoming very predictable, Sir Blue Knight. If there is a contradiction, I hope you have the evidence to prove it. Here's my chance. There's only one way to expose this contradiction. I don't think it's with evidence. I think it's gotta be with a person, right? God, Burdley. What a character design. It's been a week, so I almost forgot she existed. Look at Miss Primstone. And you. Boink. Alright. I can't present evidence, but please don't strike me for that. The defense has no intention of presenting evidence. What? The proof that there is a contradiction cannot be found in the court record.
What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright?
The professor pointed out to me in the previous witch trial. In this court, an attorney's arsenal isn't limited to the court record. Each of the witnesses in this trial has given their own account of what has occurred. Therefore, whenever one witness has testified, the other remaining witnesses have listened. Should one witness's testimony differ from another, then I suppose that in itself can also be considered a contradiction. Can it not? It's like I could still hear his voice. Juxtaposing contradictory testimonies from different witnesses is the key. Miss Grey Earl, your testimony contradicts another one that we've heard in this court today. Master took me in a complete stranger for ever being indebted to him. Mr. Beldick was a wonderful man. He's the one who recommended this line of work to me. He's the one who told me about the confidentiality obligation. I've never once broken it.
Objection!
Yeah! It was a single word that gave you away, Miss Grey Earl.
What do you mean by that?
The name of the recipient. There were only a few people who knew the intended recipient of that letter. 4 people, to be precise. Only 4 people? First was Sir Belgic, the author of the letter. And there was Miss Mailer, who delivered it. And of course, the storyteller, its recipient. As well as one more person. The one who stole the letter using a portal spell and swapped it with the blank sheets of parchment. The witch.
Maybe I did. Maybe I spilled the beans about the letter, I mean. Maybe I told the butler.
You did what?
Well, because you see, me and the butler are sort of friends. And it was about our dear Sir Belduke. I feel like I might have told her about it after all. See? If I did, that's how she knew. About the recipient, I mean.
Objection!
I understand that you are friends with Miss Grey Earl and you want to help her out. But I've got a piece of advice in this matter. You shouldn't lie, even for a friend.
Huh?
Remember your testimony. You told us about the courier's duty to keep the details of the letters confidential. And you have also testified that you have never broken that obligation. Remember?
Objection!
But hold on just a minute. As the victim's butler, Jean Grey Earl might have had the chance to catch a glimpse of the envelope.
Objection!
No, she didn't. When Miss Mailer came with the delivery, Sir Belduke was still writing that letter. In fact, he was in the middle of it. At that time, the letter had not yet been addressed. The next morning, when the body was already in the letterbox, keep in mind that Miss Grey Earl would have had no opportunity to see it then either. Is that so? She went to report the crime without even setting foot in the study. And then, Miss Mailer appeared and retrieved the letter. Needless to say, Miss Grey Earl couldn't have learned of the letter's recipient afterwards. Or maybe you have a good explanation, Miss Grey Earl? I'd very much like to hear one. Can you please tell the court how you found out the recipient's name?
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Do you remember what I said when I was called to the witness stand?
Yes.
At the heart of alchemy lies the pursuit of the rules and logic that govern nature. You have demonstrated the power of your own logic.
Miss Grey Earl? Are you saying?
Yes, I confess. The abhorrent witch who used the spell Godor to swap the contents of that letter. took the life of Master Belduke, it was none other than I.
Well, shit.
I was an only child, born to a poor family. I've been a witch since I was very little. When did I become aware of it? I don't remember. Although I was but a young child, I knew that being a witch was a crime. That's why I hid my witch's scepter. It wouldn't use magic at all. My father worked as a bricklayer. He toiled every day, but we could hardly make ends meet. One wintry day, we couldn't afford to pay the rent. We were going to lose the house. My mother was in tears, and my father was sitting with his head down, wordless.
I want money for Mummy and Daddy.
That day, I suddenly remembered about the witch's scepter that I had hidden.
The Goldor spell.
I thought I'd try it just once, casting the spell. At the time, I had no idea what an irreversible mistake that would be. Even though no one told me, I knew from the very beginning what magic I was able to use. What should I turn into gold? I was thinking about it really hard. Little girl that I was. Something that wouldn't stand out, something that could be taken for a work of art. I decided it was a pretty leaf that had fallen into our garden. But it wasn't the right thing to do after all. I was terribly punished for using magic, even just the once.
Punished? In what way were you punished?
I placed a leaf down in the back garden and cast a spell, but then Margaret suddenly walked in front of me.
Margaret?
My closest childhood friend, Margaret. Right before my eyes, she was turned into gold.
Oh, dear me.
I screamed and cried, but I knew I couldn't ask anyone for help. If anyone had seen it, they would have known it was the work of magic. And I knew Margaret wasn't coming back. That's terrible. Then my mother and father's faces flashed before my eyes. We may have been very poor, but we were always happy together. I had been captured as a witch. I feared my parents wouldn't be safe either. That thought tormented me more than anything. And so, I made the decision. I decided to end my own life. Threw myself into the river near the town. It was winter, and the water was as cold as ice. I couldn't even move. It was painful. My consciousness started drifting away. The next thing I knew, I was in Master Belduke's residence. He risked his own life jumping into the freezing river just to save me. I burst into tears and told him everything. I didn't want to go back home. I would only end up causing my parents grief. Master Belduke listened to me without interrupting. And then he told me this.
You can stay here, but from now on, you must live as a boy.
Master Belduke met with my parents and explained everything to them. They were very sad, but they agreed it would be best if I didn't return home. Poor Miss Greyo. It must have been so awful for her. Master bought the house for my parents, so they wouldn't have to worry about paying rent anymore. And as for Margaret, turned into gold, he brought her to this residence. He knew that if anyone saw her, they would report an incident of witchcraft.
And this Miss Margaret, is she still in that golden state?
Yes, she is.
That's strange. We've received no reports of anyone by that name having gone missing.
Margaret is being kept in the basement and the Master's study.
The basement? Correct me if I'm wrong, but Miss Margaret... Is she a...
Yes, my dear friend was a goat that we were keeping at our house.
Goats.
Until then, Master Belduke had mainly been researching medicine. But since the incident with Margaret, he became known as an alchemist.
So that's when he became an alchemist. I was wondering why that goat was the only thing not covered in dust.
That's how I started a new life as Master Belduke's butler.
Sir Belduke would sometimes work as a physician, curing the townspeople of their illnesses. As his assistant, you have also shown commitment to helping the townspeople through your work.
I forgot about being a witch and was able to live happily, at peace with everyone. I thought it could stay like that forever.
But those peaceful days came to an abrupt end. Tell us, what in the world was the cause?
Even I am not quite sure what led to this. However, it all started 3 months ago with that lightning strike. Fuck! Master Belduke and I were on our way back home, carrying specimens for experiments. The old bell tower was covered in flames. Everyone who saw it was stupefied. But the expression on Master Belduke's face was unlike anything I'd ever seen before.
What do you mean?
His face went pale and just in sheer terror. He was shaking violently. It wasn't just astonishment at an unusual phenomenon. It seemed as if he was afraid of something more concrete.
Perhaps Sir Belduke saw something that others couldn't.
He cancelled his experiments for that night and began writing a letter to someone.
A letter?
I found out about it when I brought him his bottle of tomato juice. He was writing feverishly as if he were possessed. I saw some things. A few words in that letter. Expose everything. Cannot keep this secret any longer. The truth about the witch. Master Belduke was going to confess that I was a witch. Everything went black in front of my eyes. I will never forget the feeling that overwhelmed me at that moment.
Is that when you decide to commit the crime?
What I did first was accidentally singe a part of the wall in my room. It was an excuse to repaint that section of the wall green.
Then you also painted the wall behind that painting in Sir Belduke's study.
And when that fateful night came, I used a syringe to inject the soporific through the cork and into the bottle of tomato juice. So many thoughts were running through my head as I wished the Master a good night. I opened the portal behind him. He was right there in front of me, asleep. I reached for the letter in the letterbox, taking care not to wake him. And then I happened to notice the name on the envelope. Storyteller. When I read that name, the world all around me turned black once more. It's impossible to avoid what is written by the storyteller. It seemed as if I could hear the doors to all escape routes shuffling closed. It was the sound of despair. I would like you to believe me that the thought of taking Master Belduke's life never once occurred to me. I only planned to steal that letter and then disappear. But as I looked upon Master sleeping there in front of me, at that moment I felt an evil presence awaken within me. Why did he save my life? And why did he betray me? Before I realized what I was doing, my hands were clutching his neck. He didn't move at all, so I kept on clenching his neck. And that's it. That's the truth about what happened 3 months ago.
There is just one thing I fail to understand.
Yes?
You said you wanted to run away once you had stolen the letter. But despite that, you continued to live in Sir Belduke's residence, and now here you stand. Why did you not run away?
My life had been thrown into disarray due to the absurdity of magic. I learned all about alchemy living at that master's residence. Alchemy is concerned with the logic that governs the world, and I wanted to believe there was truly such a thing. So I stayed in that place, hoping to one day see the irrational nature of magic overcome by the power of reason.
Magic being overcome by reason.
That night, I swapped the letter with blank sheets of parchment and waited for the sun to rise. I resolved to wait for the day when my true identity could be exposed through reason and logic. Master's death remained a mystery for 3 months, and people started to lose interest. And then you appeared, Mr. Wright. On the day you visited the residence, I was listening to your conversation from the other room. Has the time finally come for me? My heart was racing with anticipation. And then, a few minutes after everyone entered that room, an unbelievable incident took place.
That incident?
A witch appeared in Master's study.
What?
I wanted to get a look at the witch, so I created a portal in the wall behind the painting. Precisely at that moment, the witch used one of the very spells that I can use too. When I heard those words, a single thought flashed through my mind. This was my chance. I could dispose of my witch's scepter. I knew at the time what kind of a witch the Inquisition would be looking for.
A witch that can use of Malia and Goldor.
It occurred to me that I only needed to change one of the magic gems. I had previously found out that the Familia gem was purple. I realized that if I swapped the Goldor magic gem for my amethyst, I could pin the blame for my crime on that other witch.
So you changed one of the gems and threw the witch's scepter into that room. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Objection!
Wait a minute, Jean Greyerl. This statement of yours is highly problematic. How so, Inquisitor Barnum?
Yes, you are right.
Can someone explain to me what this is about?
I am a witch, indeed. A sinful creature that killed the person to whom she owed her life. However, regarding the gentleman standing next to you, Mr. Wright, he may have fallen victim to a witch, but that witch was not me.
Ah. Oh. Wait, what? Order! Order in the court! What is the meaning of this? Jean Greyl admits to killing Sir Belding, but not to turning Sir Leighton into gold. That is the gist of it, my lord. But lying about it is meaningless. Lying?
Just being a witch is a crime in itself. And the punishment for that crime is the same regardless of whether she took one person's life or two. That's why there's no point in lying about it. I'm sure that's what the judge is thinking.
Greyl is still claiming she never laid a finger on the professor. But if there's no point in lying, does that mean she must be telling us the truth?
So in that case, who's responsible for what happened to the professor? If it wasn't her, then who was it?
Mind if I say something? Take a hint, witness. Does it feel like this is the right moment for you to talk? Yeah, well, that's kind of why I was staying quiet until now. But, I either say it now or never. Don't simply fall silent after saying that. It only makes it weigh on my mind more. Whatever did you want to say? Oi, Bluey. Yeah? I need to make sure about something. My head's not what it used to be, you know? Yes. The alchemist butler, Lady Butler, she slipped sleep medicine into his drink. That's correct. She laced the tomato juice with it. And she strangled the alchemist afterwards. Yes, Sir Belding was unconscious from the sleep medicine, so he didn't resist. And that explains why we found no signs of a struggle at the crime scene. Yeah, about that. I let it slip earlier about what I did at the crime scene, right? I told you that I had a few sips of that juice. And the sleep medicine mixed in made you sleep like a log. Yes, we remember. Yeah, well, here's the thing. This is just between us, okay? You see, when I appropriated that juice, the juice bottle was, it was still unopened. It was unopened? My throat was parched and I wasn't thinking straight. That brand new bottle was just there, waiting for me, with a corkscrew conveniently laid next to it. Couldn't just let that go to waste. I swiftly pulled out the cork and got to drinking. What? So, in case you don't get what I'm getting at, the alchemist didn't have a single drop of the juice with the sleep medicine. Huh? What? Witness! You went to the trouble of opening a bottle found at the crime scene just to drink its suspicious contents? That's what I've been telling ya! I was dying of thirst. That doesn't justify what you've done. The Inquisition shall deal with this witness after the trial. He will find out what it means to be dying of thirst. In a more literal meaning. Damn, I wish Barnum could make me die of thirst. I mean, what? However, let us not waste any more time with him now. The witches confessed to her crimes. There is no need to investigate Sir Belduk's death any further. Indeed, you are right, Inquisitor. Her role in the Sir Leighton incident is not entirely clear. But a person who kills a protector, to whom she owes her very life, can be nothing other than a witch. The court has sufficient grounds to sentence her as such. Belduke didn't drink the juice that night. And if that's true, there's one thing here that doesn't add up.
Mr. Wright, I have to say there's something about this that's bothering me. I'm sure there's a contradiction lurking in that man's testimony. You think so, Luke?
Can I really turn a blind eye to that? Nope! Mister, you're saying you opened the tomato bottle juice. But that claim contradicts a certain piece of evidence. What? Defense, I'd like a word with you. Yes, Your Honor. At this point, your client's innocence has already been established. Therefore, whether there is a contradiction in that man's testimony or not should no longer be any of your concern. That may be so, Your Honor. But even though I'm here to defend the accused, the true duty of any attorney is to uncover the truth behind what happened. My job's not done until there are no more contradictions left. Very well. Shing! Sir Blue Knight, let us hear about this contradiction you discovered. The bottle was first opened by that guy, meaning Belduke didn't drink any of it. That means there's one piece of evidence that should be very difficult to explain. I would like to hear about this contradiction too. Defense shall present evidence. Where is the contradiction in this witness having been the one who opened the tomato juice bottle? Wasn't there one? Yeah, the cork's not in it. The cork's not in it on that second sketch.
Take that!
And he said he didn't put it back, so... The contradiction can be seen in one of the sketches of the crime scene. In one of the sketches... Please take a look at Sir Belduke's mouth. We can see a line of red liquid trickling down from his mouth. Yes, well, we've already established that it was the tomato juice. Oh! Exactly, Your Honor. Sir Belduke didn't drink any of the tomato juice. That...
Objection!
Which means there's only one other possibility. That red line is, as we thought, first of all, blood. Sir Belduke must have tried to fight back the assailant and bit his tongue in doing so.
Objection!
Unfortunately, that would only bring us back to the problem we encountered earlier. If the victim had put up a fight, then there should have been traces of a struggle, and yet no traces were found. That's what made you assume the witch must have used Famalia. Yes, that is so.
As I explained before, Master Belduke didn't struggle at all at the time, but when I think about it now, in light of the new information, it was very unnatural.
The victim didn't drink the soporific, yet didn't struggle. But what does this mean? If it's not tomato juice nor blood brought about through a struggle within the murder, then what else could it be? Since it's not tomato juice, we have to assume it's blood after all. Yeah, right, it's gotta be that. We have ruled out the possibility that the victim bit his tongue while struggling with the attacker.
Indeed.
And there's gotta be a different reason for that blood being there. He must have suffered internal bleeding that was somehow connected to his death. What could have caused it? Your Honor, if I may ask one question. A question to whom? If I just clarify it's one suspicion, I may be able to explain the blood shown in the sketch. That's why I need to question one person in particular. Son of a bitch. Mister, can I ask you something? Yeah, don't give me that scary look, Bluey. Oh no, nothing. Nothing at all. I got nothing to tell.
And me as innocent as a little lamb.
But is his confidence more than a sham? Spear. He'd be better off without that bard. You drank the tomato juice that was at the crime scene, right? Don't keep asking me about that over and over again. So what if I did? Then I have another question for you. Did anything else disappear from the crime scene that day? I didn't notice anything.
Objection!
Witness, just what have you done this time? You look like a dog caught making a mess on the carpet. Oh, well, that's actually, why are you looking at me like that? I don't know about anything going missing. I'm innocent. Please believe me.
Truth can drown in his swimming eyes. Some lies tell well, others cannot tell lies.
It was like my gut feeling was right. He took something from the crime scene. Something that could be directly connected to that red liquid around Belduke's mouth. What on earth did that man steal from the crime scene? A certain item disappeared from the crime scene that day. And at this very moment, it's highly likely that item is right in front of our very eyes. What? It's here? Isn't that right, mister? Is it? I have no idea. Defender, I order you to show us what this item is. The item that this witness took from the crime scene. My brother in Christ, you're drinking poison.
Got it!
It's this bottle! The bottle? Miss Grey Earl, I'd like you to clarify something for me.
What would that be, Mr. Wright?
Sir Belduke was working on creating certain medicines. He had various dangerous substances in his possession as well. How were they stored?
Master kept them in a locked medicine cabinet. The bottles were labeled so that it was clear that they were dangerous. They have all been confiscated.
As for those labels, did they resemble the label on that guy's bottle?
Mister, what are you doing with a product of Master's research?
It's not what you think. I didn't have any evil intentions or nothing.
That bottle belonged to Master, and it was used to store strong poison. Poison strong enough to kill.
Poison? What? The red liquid trickling down Sir Belduke's mouth was definitely blood. Now, as for what caused him to bleed like that from his mouth, it was the deadly poison from the bottle this guy stole from the crime scene. This is outrageous. What? Order! 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 Whoa, 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 whoa. Just expect me to keep quiet? It was poison! Am I gonna die?
Objection!
I hope so. I mean, just wait and see. Time will tell. Yeah, I guess. More importantly, I want to know why you have that bottle. That's, remember how I told you I drank the alchemist's tomato juice? Indeed, it's not something easy to forget, especially having heard it several times. Well, that was when I saw it on the floor. This bottle right here. It was totally empty. I thought, it's such a fancy looking bottle and all. I'm a bit of a skull fancier. There's air of danger about them, right? They certainly do. My brother in Christ, you didn't wash the bottle of poison before you put the tomato juice in it. So since it was there and I was there too, I felt we were kind of meant for each other. I thought this bottle's so classy, I could die for it.
Had any poison been left in the bottle, you would have died instantly. But if it was empty, it was probably harmless.
Ooh, hear that? I'm gonna live. Good thing I rinsed it well before you... Damn it! But if the victim was killed by poison, that raises a new question, of course. Who could have poisoned him? Considering all the evidence and the testimonies we've heard today, the answer is so close I can taste it. Sir Belduke was poisoned by... If this wasn't worth, like, one, like, badge credit, I would totally put him there. But... All signs point to... It was, of course, Sir Belduke himself. Sir Belduke himself? Sir Belduke took that poison of his own will. His death was suicide.
Objection!
That is preposterous! A suicide. Inconceivable.
Objection!
Think about it, Inquisitor. That would explain the most unnatural aspect of his death. The most unnatural aspect? Miss Greyer, when you were strangling Sir Belduke, you put up no fight whatsoever. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. Until today, I was convinced it was due to the sleep medicine.
It wasn't, because he didn't take any. The truth is, when you gripped his throat, Sir Belduke, Sir Belduke was already dead. He had poisoned himself! But would the poison have caused him to bleed from his mouth? I personally know of no poison that works instantly and causes such symptoms. Oh, you don't? I can't tell them that happens on TV all the time.
There are certain plants in this area that contain a highly poisonous substance. In the course of his research, Master Belduke found a way to extract that poison.
What am I hearing? Is there really such a dangerous plant in Labyrinthia?
The poison is very bitter to taste, so it would be impossible to secretly slip it into someone's food or drink. And it would cause internal damage. It is a very powerful poison. Drinking it would induce a most painful death.
I think Sir Belduke could... But did Sir Belduke really choose such an agonizing death for himself? It doesn't seem like he suffered that much.
I would like to know that too.
Miss Greyer.
You mean to say Master killed himself after exposing me as a witch? I cannot believe it. He just wouldn't commit suicide.
Indeed, we cannot take such a theory at face value. Had he committed suicide, I dare say he would have left a suicide note. Well, I can't say why Sir Belduke committed suicide, but I think there's a piece of evidence that can confirm his suicide was a possibility. There was a piece of evidence like that? If you have such evidence you want to present it to the court immediately, present the evidence indicating that Sir Belduke's death could have been suicide.
Take that!
That's Sir Belduke's letter. Let's see, it was addressed to the storyteller, wasn't it? This is the last letter written by Sir Belduke. Now, if his death was a suicide, then this letter may well be his suicide note.
Objection!
What we have here is nothing more than blank sheets of parchment. Whether or not there was a suicide note is something we can only speculate about. That's right. There is one person who knows whether or not this letter was really a suicide note. You mean the person who swapped its contents? In other words, you, Jean Greyer. Witness, you stole Sir Belduke's letter on the night of the crime. Tell us, what was written in it?
I don't know.
What? You don't know?
I did steal the letter, yes, but I don't know what its contents were.
You mean you have not read it?
I couldn't bring myself to read it. It seemed that if I did, everything that had happened since Master Belduke saved my life would be ruined in an instant. I've taken it out and held it in my hands many times. No matter what, I just couldn't.
Hey, Poke.
Miss Greyer,
Can you tell us where that letter is now?
I have it here.
Oh! You're carrying it around with you?
If you were searched, you would have been done for. At night, having killed Master Belduke, I decided to stay in his residence. I knew my identity would be revealed sooner or later, and I was ready for it. So, until that time, I decided to always keep the letter with me. My lord,
Yes, witness.
if you don't mind, could you please read it aloud? Now that I'm here, in this place of judgment, I think I'm finally ready to hear what Master wrote.
Hold it!
Miss Grey Arrow, I think you should be the one to read it.
Me?
Sir Belduke wrote this letter to the storyteller as he was preparing to die.
Yeah, Leighton is gold. He's vibing next to us, but he's kind of out of frame, unfortunately.
I think it's only right his last words should be read by you.
Yes, you're right. I see. I understand. Please allow me to read the letter aloud.
Aw, jeez.
My dear friend, I hope you will be able to forgive me for leaving this world of my own will. I have finally made this decision, having seen that accursed bell tower
appear in the flames on that dreadful night. That lightning was a sign that we have angered the gods. What I have done cannot be forgiven. I can never escape from it. For the past few days, I have been thinking that it might be best to simply expose everything. This town's secret, the truth about the witch. Of course, I understand that secrets need to be kept. However, I have grown very tired. I'm afraid I cannot keep the secret any longer. I have only two concerns. The first is my daughter. It pains me to be leaving her alone in this world, although she probably doesn't think of me as her father.
A daughter?
I was not aware that Sir Belduke had a daughter.
You fucking idiots.
Mr. Belduke seemed to know a lot about this town. This town's secret, and the truth about the witch.
Truth about the witch? Somehow I don't think he was talking about Miss Grey Arrow.
Oh. The second matter, weighing heavily on my mind, is that Jean will be left on her own.
Seeing her growing up, so strong and righteous, in defiance of her fate, had given me hope. A short while ago, she brought me my usual, and what will be my last, drink. There are so many things I wanted to tell her, but I could only manage a thank you. She is a very sharp child. Had I said any more, she would have caught on. You could call me a selfish man, but I didn't wish my last memory of her to be a sad one.
Master Belduke.
Ouch.
The fate handed to her by this town has made her life an ordeal until now. I hope from the bottom of my heart that a wonderful story awaits her next. I intend to leave my residence to her, and I would like you to look out for her.
Alas, it is time for me to put my pen down, my dear friend. What I truly wish to express to you is too complicated for words. I hope one day you will understand, but for now I bid you farewell. The time...
Ah, fuck. I didn't mean to skip it. Shit. Damn.
This this letter. It wasn't a denunciation of me being a witch.
Master Belduke cared about you until the very end.
Yeah, Layton is still gold.
Yes, how could I have forgotten? I'm sure I knew it all along. So why did I? How could I have done that to him?
Miss Grayle.
My lord? What is it, Inquisitor Barnum? I think it is about time. For the guilty verdict. Guilty? The Inquisition withdraws the charges against Maya Fey and charges Jean Grayle with being a witch. All the evidence corroborates this accusation, and she even admits her guilt. Hence, the Inquisition asks that the witch be found guilty and punished immediately.
Objection!
Not so fast, Inquisitor Barnum! What do you want now, Sir Blue Knight? Admittedly, Miss Grayle did attempt to strangle Sir Belduke, but he had consumed the deadly poison and was already dead at the time. Therefore, she is not guilty of murder. And one more thing. It also wasn't Miss Grayle who turned Professor Layton into gold. I don't think he's pointing at who's guilty of it, though, because he's pointing directly at you, I think. Unless you're a witch. No, wait, no, it's actually impossible. There was another witch present at the crime scene, though. Defendant Maya saw her, too. To put it simply, Miss Grayle didn't kill anyone.
Yeah, she didn't kill anyone. And yet, you still want to burn her? Maya, do you even know how it feels to be put in this cage? It's like everyone's against you and it's super frightening. I'm not a witch, but I've been thrown into this cage and almost sentenced for something I didn't do. And now you're about to do the same to another person? That's just not right.
Is that all you have to say? Huh? The one who's in the wrong is not me, but you, Sir Blue Knight. Whether the witch committed the crime or not is completely irrelevant. This is the witch's court. All witches must be punished by fire.
But that's crazy.
Why, Barnum? I would honestly go up against, like, Darklaw, honestly. She's the High Inquisitor. She's the one who probably enforces all this shit, right? But I guess Barnum is here, so... And Darklaw is not, so... Inquisitor Barnum is absolutely right. Being a witch is a crime. You understand that, don't you, Miss Grayle?
Yes.
Very well, then. The court is ready to issue the final verdict. Maya Fey is found innocent, and in her place, Jean Grayle is found guilty of being a witch and shall be cast into the hellfire!
No! You can't!
Hold it! Please, hold the verdict!
Espella?
What is it now, Espella Cantabella?
Yeah,
There is nothing else we
the
can do.
society is not
This
very
is the
kind to
course
the
of
witches.
things, and you should know it well.
Indeed, all witches shall be cast into the flames. That
prefer my
is
term
the
of
law
hellfire,
of
but
this
you know
town. A law that was written by your very own father.
I looked away for half a second and I thought he said lore. because of the way his accent goes.
And furthermore,
but no, it's
a law
law.
that has always been obeyed in the town of Labyrinthia.
The lore.
A town like
I mean,
this
technically not
should
wrong,
never exist
but...
in the first place.
What such insolence?
That's heresy. She's criticizing the storyteller's story. Even the storyteller's daughter has no right to criticize the story.
There's Golden Layton. There is Golden Layton. So yeah, the lore, the lore.
Trials in which
such innocent people are sentenced to death by fire. I shall make sure
I mean,
this is the last one.
The laws are literally written in the storyteller's story, so I think it is technically a lore.
What do you mean, Espella?
Since you're also keen on the rules created by the storyteller.
Anyway, I
you
think
should know
Espella's about to
exactly
do
what I
a
mean.
big sacrifice, so maybe I shouldn't be joking about the lore, but also, it's funny. The
A
lore thing.
stipulation for ending the witch trials. Once the Great Witch Bezella is burned, the witch trials will end. At present, I am under suspicion. You know very well why that is, don't you?
You? Well, you don't mean that you're,
I am guilty. I am the Great Witch Bezella.
What?
Now, cast me into the flames and let Miss Grail free. Miss Cantabella. This shall be the last of the witch trials. No one else need be burned hereafter.
Espella, just what are you saying? I can't let you do that.
Yep, this sure is an Ace Attorney game written before the great Ace Attorney games. So, the female characters could be better.
Please, Mr. Wright.
Play the Great
let
Ace Attorney
me do as
Chronicles,
I
it's great.
wish.
Susato is based.
I'm sorry, but this is a problem concerning the people of Labyrinthia.
No! Please don't do it!
There must be another way.
Also
don't need
Iris.
to do
Iris is
this.
great too, of course. But Iris is more baby,
It's
she's
all
not
right.
really an assistant,
Luke,
so...
Maya.
Well, she's Sholmes' assistant, I guess. Yeah, no, Susato was never suspected for a crime, actually. In fact, Ryunosuke, the main protagonist, is accused twice, but Susato never.
Mr. Wright and Mr. Layton, I truly appreciate all
And
you have done.
she's even the attorney of one of the cases, so that's pog as fuck.
This can't be happening.
Miss Cantabella, your confession will have very serious, or rather, fatal consequences for you. May we assume that you fully understand
Does
those
Tracy go on trial?
consequences and
I
are
actually
willing
don't remember,
to
but I
accept
believe
them?
so, probably. I would believe so, I mean.
I am
AA6,
Estella
yeah.
Cantabella,
That's why I
the
didn't remember it.
storyteller's daughter.
I've got to stop dragging 6. I'm sorry. Especially since, yeah, case 2 is actually a pretty good case.
But I also have another name. I am the Great Witch Bezella.
Case 2 and 4 are pretty good in that game. The rest I can kinda take or leave at varying levels.
I have lived hidden in the dark pages of my father's story, deceiving all of you. Many lives have been sacrificed because
I know
of me.
Okay, I'm very sorry that I've, basically checked out of the story for today at this point, but, I know I've said my piece before about how I kind of prefer when the Ace Attorney breakdowns are more grounded, but I don't know, I have a soft spot for that breakdown in Case 2. I won't get into specifics since certain people here have not played Ace Attorney 6 or gotten to Case 2, but in hindsight, that one's actually pretty good.
But that shall end today.
Court attendants, seize that woman! She is the Great Witch, Bezella.
Anyway, arson. I need a drink of water after all that talking. God.
Espella.
Yo, she fucking dying. I forget how it goes. Please drop. Please just drop so I can play the funny sound. Oh, wait, right. Maya, what the fuck? Maya, please.
Espella, this just isn't right. Let's go. Nick, give me a hand.
Okay, but Phoenix fucking grabbing that knight like that and trying to choke him out is fucking good, though.
They're getting away!
I don't know what he was trying to accomplish, but it was good. Oh wow, nice of the case to just lock behind her, huh? Huh, how about that?
Maya!
Help me, Nick! Espella!
That one knight is having a time of his life, huh?
Stop! You've got to stop! Maya!
Sheesh. There were many casualties, yes. Oof. Yo. I can't believe they killed off 2 of the main characters from each franchise in this spinoff. Yep, definitely. They're definitely not coming back. Anyway. I know I said I was going to go a little longer today because of, last time I didn't exactly go for the whole trial, but my head hurting. So, I think I am going to cut it here. However, next time we will go into Chapter 5. So, next Wednesday, because, you know, I made this a weekly thing, we will be back with more Layton versus Wright. I'll see you then. No, save. Come on.